and offering it as a matter of fact, then I guess this committee would be having trouble as to distinguishing those two things. I guess that's where the problem between Congressman Marcoleta and one of the vloggers here. Mr. Chair, the power of social media was actually tested in 2001. It was not directed against individual. It actually pinned down the regime. Remember in 2001, during the Arab Spring, the power of Facebook actually, Mr. Chair, brought down more than 3 decades of regime under the Mubarak in Egypt. It's actually composed of young people pulling themselves, coming out and then asking for a change in Egypt. And actually, they used Facebook as a platform to bring down one of the most powerful regime in the Middle East. So, hindi lang ho ganun ka-powerful po ang media, ang social media, ang Facebook in particular. In fact, in the Facebook, yung mga active users, it reaches a point where if it's likened to a country, it's even more populated than China. Yung mga active users po. So, ganun po ka-powerful ngayon ng social media, mga social media platforms. I'm talking about Facebook. I was listening earlier, Mr. Chair, to the exchanges between Congresswoman Luistro and our DICT. Mr. Chair, I would just like to I'll lay down the premise. If you remember back in 2017, and most of us here are victims of fake news or sinasabi nilang information disorder. Being a politician, that's already part of our job. I mean, that's already expected of us that once you enter into politics, you automatically earn an enemy. No? It's impossible for you. Sabi nga kanina ni Manong Benny, he quoted saying from sino to kay Prime Minister Churchill. Alam ko may sinabi si Churchill, a man without an enemy is made up of nothing. So, pag pumasok po kayo dyan sa politika, talagang automatic meron kayong enemy. Sa mga members po dito, lahat po tayo naging biktima ng fake news. But to tell you a story, ako po hindi lang big victim ng fake news. Biktima rin ako because ng isang threat that was actually made by some vloggers in 2017. Remember, during the Marawi siege, one local vlogger who happens to be connected with the political party came out with this fake news na ako daw, si Senator Bam Aquino, former Senator Bam Aquino, and former Senator Trillanes, and my brother, which was then the Vice Governor, Bombit Adyong, nag-usap-usap daw kami at kinausap namin ang Dawla Islamiyah para atakihin ng Marawi City. So, it actually came out online, and what's so surprising is that former Secretary of Justice, Aguirre, came out with a statement and believing in that fake news. Lumabas no less than the Secretary of Justice. Ganun po ka problematic, ganun po ka grabe yung fake news to a point that a certain public official may believe in that distorted information. Wala akong katotohanan nun. Fortunately, sabi nga ni Ms. Tikia, we have to go and answer this and correct all this false information. Yun po ang ginawa namin. Immediately when the statement came out, we went publicly and then rectified, kinorek po namin na di tama. And yeah, subsequently, former Secretary Aguirre apologized and rectified his statement. Ganun po ka lala. Pangalawa, Facebook was also used as a means to propagate. Actually, mayroon pong binigay na patong sa ulo ko during the siege. It was actually also used by violent extremists. That's why I was listening to Congresswoman Jinky. If this is continued to be unmonitored, it may border to national security threat because the platforms, the social media platforms, are also being used by the entry of violent extremists. Kasi nasa third generation warfare na po tayo, gumagamit na po sila, sophisticated na rin po ang pag-recruit nila. Meron pong nakapatong sa ulo ko na for certain million kung pwede, may ano nga sila, Mr. Chair eh. Meron na nga ho silang, they came out with the fatwa. I'm sure many of you are aware of what is fatwa is, na pwede na akong patayin. No? Kasi I was speaking on behalf of the government and denouncing their ano no, the organization who made and entered Marawi City and attack no our city. So ibig sabihin ganun po kalala. Though personally lahat po tayo biktima, but ako alam ko how bad if unmonitored and yung mga pumapasok pong mga fake news, kung hindi ho natin yun ma-stop, talagang hindi lang ho nagkukos yan sa personal reputation attack ng tao. It even can be used to actually cause harm or death to an individual because I've experienced that firsthand. Now, I'd like to ask po a certain follow-up. There's a simple questions lang po, Mr. Chair. Kanina po I was listening to Philippines, ano ba yun? Press One Philippines investigation. Umalis na ba?
They left already. They just left, Congressman Chong.
Okay. Narinig naman natin DICT yung kanilang presentation po, no? DICT, I don't know if DICT o sa ano? Yes. So, they were able to gather all these ano, mga accounts, no? And they said na meron mga peddlers, meron mga amplifiers, if you want to use that word. Parang pagkaintindi ko is there's a source from a foreign country, and then ito yung mga gumagawa sila ng mga narrative against or at least to demean our claim over certain areas in the sea, West Philippine Sea in particular, and then pinipedal sa baba or binag-magnify. They were able to gather all these accounts. How may I ask? I believe this is a private company and they belong to a private sector. But may I know if the ICT would also be able to gather? Do we have the capacity to probably get all of these informations? Kasi kung if we listen to their presentation, it borders, number one, it can constitute into treason, into rebellion, because they're propagating something which is inimical to the interest of our national security. And so I'm just wondering how do we be able to to at least police. Sabi nga ni Congresswoman Jinky Luiso kanina, if it's a continuing crime being committed, why is there no arrest ever made? So gusto ko, I just want to find out from the ICT.
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I may, with regard to the question of Congressman Ajong, earlier during our presentation, we mentioned that the DICT, along with other government agencies, are looking into how certain individuals and certain accounts are helping amplify campaigns against the government. And yes, we have reported also in the past, including some press conferences, that we are aware that certain Chinese influences who claim to be US-based strategy outlets or consultancy firms, yung iba nga ginagaya pa yung westernized, I would call it westernized names of publications, parang ginagaya nila. Then they parrot the line of
Pero I think yung presentation po, Mr. Che, kanina nung isa sa mga yung Press One Philippines, meron parang feeling ko may na-identify sila ng mga accounts dito eh.
meron, Your Honor, but we don't want to sinabi ko rin po kanina, we are willing to discuss in executive session.
Okay.
These are all,
But you do have the data and the information of
we
all of
have
this.
some information. I think and we do share this information to our.
But you don't need a new law for that, for you to be able to track down and maybe probably find a possible offenses that these accounts or those who are behind operating these accounts are guilty of, no? That at least at the very least they have violated a certain laws.
Thank you for asking that question, Your Honor. We go around certain laws. For example, you've heard of the case of espionage.
Okay.
We've also filed cases, yung binanggit ko kanina, yung nagre-recruit si Mr. Wang, who was recruiting AFP personnel, both active and retired, using multiple accounts, multiple FB accounts. But so we use existing laws. But of course,
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Mr. Chair. Are these contents also being peddled by vloggers online? Or are they done discreetly? Kasi hindi ko gusto ko yun ang tanungin ko, gusto kong tanungin eh. Are all these accounts operated behind, kasi may sinasabi silang bots eh. I'm sorry but I'm not really familiar with with these terms. Hindi ako tech na tao eh. Meron akong naririnig sa inyo na it's being operated by AI. Sometimes hindi siya tao kasi yung responses niya is to kumbaga it's not normal for a person yung speed ng kanyang pag-react sa mga certain posts online. So are all these accounts that are under nakuha ng are these all being operated by AI or by certain groups or individuals? And my next question is, are all these contents also being peddled by known vloggers? And what are the steps that you have done, just to at least ma-stop itong ganitong mga information? Kasi it borders our national security. That concerns me.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, the answers to your queries, we'd like to have an executive session.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So yeah, would you like to do a follow-up on that?
So, as our as part of our mandate to also inform our legislators, we are more than willing to discuss these national security.
But at least you have identified some vloggers.
We have, sir, with regard to your question of whether or not vloggers or some vloggers, without naming them, have been parroting lines that are coming from
Yes.
from the Chinese, from the Communist Party of China, the answer is yes. But whether they do so willingly or they believe it or they do so maliciously is beyond me.
So what are the grounds for you to at least be apprehensive in arresting them? I'm just for the sake of discussion lang.
So there are various reasons.
Do we have meron bang batas na hindi na or it just yung lack of batas para ma-implement
No.
yun? O halimbawa ma-aresto yung mga ganitong mga peddlers?
Sir, Your Honor, if we're talking about national security, if we're talking about our claim on the West Philippine Sea,
Because that's what I gathered from the presentation eh.
There are various reasons kung ba't hindi natin pa hinuhuli. It could be that there are follow-up operations. It could also be that we're trying to get to the bottom of it. Kung national security, sir.
But it's not because there's no batas that is now operated.
Your Honor, it's to be truly honest, it's a very complex question. Number one,
Kasi in aid of legislation tayo dito, that's why we are soliciting all your inputs and answers. Kasi we want to find out if there's kung may absence ba of a certain legislation that we need to enact para at least
Yes, sir.
you can close the gap.
yes, sir. Kasi medyo complex yung question. If we're talking about espionage and malign influence, there is a law being supported by the National Security Council and the National Security Advisor regarding the amendments to the espionage law. With regard to fake news, the ICT and the CICC as a council have been actively espousing for social media regulation and also for amendments to the Cybercrime Prevention Act. So, I understand, Your Honor, that PH1 gave a very comprehensive and perhaps compelling picture of how Chinese malign information seeps into the political blogosphere. But like I said, Mr. Chair, while we have some information that may possibly corroborate that claim,
I understand if it's I understand if it's a classified information and you are not supposed to share it here.
But yes, Your Honor, we do espouse for certain amendments to certain laws to make our life a lot easier.
Yeah, okay. Kasi yun ang pagkadating ko dito, Mr. Chair, yun ang unang-una kong narinig eh. The reason why I premised my questions, yung background po na na-experience namin in 2017, because this is not a joke. I mean, you've seen how the effects of the entry of violent extremism using the media platforms, social media platforms, in recruiting others, young people. And kasi what they did, Mr. Chair, based on our experience, is that they also propagated fake news eh. And somehow, they gathered audience at itong nang nangyari. That's why, ito pong issue about yung mga information, misinformation, disinformation, it does not only circle around the issue of politics eh, or propaganda. Something is even more sinister when they use it to attack our national sovereignty and national territory, di ba? Kasi na-experience po natin yun back in 2017. So, Mr. Chair, I hope that the ICT and whatever law enforcement agencies are involved, but I hope you can finally get to the bottom of this, and perhaps we can use all those information that you gather to probably help this committee in coming up with the measure so that we can not only protect sabi ka ni mga kasamaan ko dito, not only to protect the narrative based on truth and facts, but as well as to protect not individual rights, but also to protect our collective rights to exist as a nation. Kasi feeling ko that's where they will also infiltrate and then probably attack, threaten our democracy. Sabi nga kanina, yun ang napag-uusapan, because democracy will be not really fully functional if it's based on falsehood and truth, if we are propagating falsehood instead of upholding the truth and correct information. Mr. Chair, let me go to more personal level po na concern. Mr. Chair, I heard earlier, may I ask Ms. Malutikia, we're friends on Facebook, pero na-deactivate ko na po yung personal Facebook because I've been receiving all these attacks. So I prefer to maintain my sanity rather than engage in trolls, paid trolls, and bashers. You mentioned about code of ethics. I guess Congressman Paulo Ortega mentioned in his closing remarks kanina po na there seems to be apparent lack of decency in how we engage ourselves, communicate ourselves, and make connections with others in this online community. You also mentioned about code of ethics kasi alam ko in broadsheets and periodicals and even the mainstream media, what they have is they have editorials. Now, before they come out with a certain news item, they have to pass through the editorial, kailangan i-assess, kailangan makita, ma-vet kung totoo ba talaga yung mga information na ilalabas nila. Kasi magkaiba po yung sa opinion writers, as you are part of that, yung mga op-ed, mga opinion writers, and from news reporting, di ba? In this case po sa social media mga platforms, there seems to be a mixture between news reporting and opinions, di ba? Kaya nga sinasabi ko, there's a hair-splitting difference na between opinion and opinions who are actually parang offering an alternative facts, di ba? Parang ganun na nangyari. You mentioned about code of ethics. There seems to be a lack of it. We all agree on that. Can you expound to us how we could be able to probably help this committee in formulate? Kasi yun talaga din po ang nakikita ko. And without this standard of protocols or standard of ethics, talagang tama po yung sinabi ni Sir, na mukhang ang mga Pilipino ngayon, mas nag-i-enjoy sila doon sa pakikipagsamurahan online. No? And unfortunately, that's now the culture online eh. Kasi you can actually hide behind that veneer na hindi ka makikilala. So whatever you want to say, you can say it. Hindi ka naman nagmumura sa bahay nyo, pero pag nandun ka, iba yung personality mo sa online. Hindi ho ba? So what standard, can you expound on that? Because it actually caught my attention. This issue really is not only a policy direction, it's not a policy debate. This is also a mixture of policy debate and value judgment debate. Ito pang nag-uusapan natin dito. So I would like to you to expound on that and maybe help us kung paano natin maka-formulate kung ano yung code of ethics na po pwedeng applicable sa online community.
Mr. Chairman, Congressman Adjong, probably you can situate the formulation of a code of ethics through crowdsourcing. So it may, everyone gets to contribute their sense because it's actually community policing. The other thing that I would want to bring out is that yung konsepto ng first to report, that actually drives engagement.
Ano po yung first to report?
First to report. For example, may nangyayari yung hearing dito, una mong na-vlog, una mong nasabi, then everyone will be going to you and listening to you. So there are nuances in the ecosystem of the social media. This is very important for everyone to understand. And I would rather suggest that a draft be formulated and made public so you crowdsource things. So it is not stifling the rights, the freedoms, but essentially telling everyone, oh, ito yung 12 rules natin. What do you think? Kasi mahirap pong manggaling sa akin, yun yung lalabas na naman is value judgment and the biases. All of us have our own biases and we may consider it as value judgment, others might consider it as an affront to their belief system. So I would rather that code of ethics emanate from the community.
Itself.
Yeah.
So what you're saying po, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Tikia, is that okay. So what you're saying po, kasi doon po sa mga sa mainstream media, di ba meron po silang KBP?
Yes.
Di ba? Kilusan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Yes, sir.
Tama po ba? And meron sila pong sariling sanction. Within their community, nagkakaroon they
Policing
adopted
the
a certain criteria, standard of ethics. In the case of the vloggers right now, wala po ba, Mr. Gamboa? Wala po kayong ganon where the vloggers, your community, come together and maybe, you know, agree that there's certain ethical standard that we need to at least maintain and uphold. And wala pong ganong klaseng
Wala po, Mr. Chair. Kasi po, marami pong efforts before na subukang ipaggrupo yung mga vloggers. Kaso po, politically divided po, mahirap eh. Hindi mo pagsasama yung admin na vloggers sa mga DDS na vloggers ngayon dahil medyo magkalaban sila online. And yung nasabi niyo po kanina na pinatay niyo yung, you deactivated your Facebook dahil ang dami. Yun po yung goal nila eh. Ang goal nila is yung anyone na dissenting opinion from them, they will barrage, they will bully, hanggang mag-off po ng page para hindi na po mag-post online. So, ang goal po kasi talaga minsan is mambully.
to silence and censor.
To silence and censor.
certain
So,
individual.
hanggat hindi sila lumalagpas doon sa linya na libelous, mahirap pong kontrolin talaga minsan yung pambubuli nila.
So would it be impossible? Would you think that it would be impossible for your community to gather together and maybe come up? Would it be impossible?
Hindi naman po impossible.
Okay.
Pero it would take a lot of hard work to come together. And kaya ako po, personally, yung mga hindi umattend na DDS, marami po doon kaibigan ko. Kasi nahihiwalay ko yung trabaho namin doon sa personal na friendship. Yung iba po kasi hindi eh. Kapag nandun ka sa kabilang side, kaaway ka namin kahit sa personal na buhay.
Ma'am, Miss Malu, what's the difference between your experience po as a opinion writer, no? I suspect that the vlogging is also, you know, in ano lang eh, mas visual lang eh, hindi siya written eh. What's the difference between in your experience as an opinion writer, papasok po ba yan? Or, I mean, before you come out or publish your piece, your article, hindi ho yan, dumadaan pa buya ba yan sa editorials?
Yes, sir. Dumadaan ho sa editorial, and then you have to conform with the number of words.
Yeah.
If you do mainstream media, that's 800 to 900 words. In online, you need to cut it to 300 because of the attention span. And then, even the phraseology is very much different. Op-ed writing is more formal. Blogging is colloquial, and to a certain degree uses a different way of communication. It may not even be strategic communication or messaging. You just write.
Okay. Sa itong pombong mga vlogging, which social media platforms do vloggers use? Kasi may Facebook yan, di ba? May real time pa yan. When you say vlogging, kasi may nakikita po ako, may mga microphone sila, may mga background sila. Insa naman, real time, tapos nakikita mo yung mga comments, pero accordingly sa kanila is vlogging yon. So can we categorize also what type of vlogging do we speak here? And which social media platforms do they normally upload their videos? Kasi sabi po ni Ma'am Malu kanina, is that even if you're an opinion writer, you have all your articles would need to be passed through the editorials, no? And there are certain limits, words, and number of words. But in the case of blogging, may certain minutes ba yan? According to the... So ano yung mga social media accounts normally ang ginagamit na probably mas lesser yung sanction or mas lesser yung mga requirements?
Opo. Yung sa vlogging po kasi, maraming klase, hindi lang political. Yung sa amin po is political vlog. Merong lifestyle, may sports,
May food.
merong food. Ang dami pong iba-ibang klase ng vlogging. So yung political vlogging po, isang aspeto lang yan. Lahat po yan monetize, pwedeng kumita. Yung political vlogging, dyan po problema.
So saan po nila ginagamit normally? Sinasabi mong nanomonetize yung mga pinalabas nila na-upload nila mga videos. Which social media accounts do they normally upload their videos?
Okay. So ito po, yung YouTube po, for how many, almost a decade now, yun po ang main na talagang merong monetization for vloggers. Yung Facebook, for a time, mataas yung kanyang monetization, kaya ang daming nag-Facebook vlogging. Ang problema po, mga last year, binabaan ni Facebook yung monetization for vlogs. So, hindi na ganun kadami.
How do you monetize that? I mean, do you need certain, based on likes?
Based on
views?
views po. Kasi po, yung mga videos namin, papasukan ni Facebook at ni YouTube ng video, ng commercials, hati kami dun sa babayad ng commercial.
So paano what's the mechanics in terms of the payment? How do you do that?
Iuhulog po nila monthly.
Monthly, so
Opo.
meron kang
May
bangko.
competition sila. Ito yung kinita mo this month, iuhulog ko after a few weeks.
So normally po, YouTube sila
YouTube po, ganun po, tuloy-tuloy po. Merong kinikita monthly, tas iuhulog a few weeks after.
Okay. Tapos that's the social media platform.
Yes
na
po.
Doon
Yung
po sila
TikTok
usually
po,
nagbo-vlog.
wala pong monetization masyado, halos yung mga vlogs. Wala po. Pero ang pinakaiba kasi sa TikTok, mas nagva-viral yung mga posts. So ang daming mas makakita. Kung ang objective mo is maikalat yung iyong politiko or yung advocacy, sa TikTok po, mas naikakalat po nila. Kaso wala pong monetization yung mga
TikTok?
videos. Opo.
Wala silang. Yes, Ma'am Malu.
Sir, if I may, just to correct the impression, monetization, you really have to conform with the requirements. So, hindi yun immediate. If you reach a certain number of followers or views, they will trigger an instruction to you monetize. So it's up to you to monetize or not. In my case, in my personal Facebook page, I have received letter from Facebook online asking me if I want to monetize. And there are several requirements. You have to get your TIN, you have to, it's so tedious
Okay.
that I do not monetize. In Facebook, again, it's the views. if for example you run 10 seconder, 30 seconder, and you get a high of, let's say, 1,000 to 2,000, you need to again register. But they will come up with your, oh, ito na yung nasa iyo ha, but you cannot get this, it is only part because you need to register. So not everyone is knowledgeable of the need to register. The other way of earning is to send hearts, stars. So, I mean, it's a very intricate manner so that if you have free time and you don't have a job, it's the easiest. And you love talking, you love taking videos, that's the easiest. So now you have Generation Alpha really on it. The difference in TikTok is that they can grab any content, even from mainstream media, and repurpose it as their content without copyright violation.
Okay, so yes, gusto ko lang po itanong, 'di ba kanina sabi nyo, there are also the process where you get money from your uploads and your contents is based on views and based on followers, hindi ba? Ito sa mga followers, halimbawa sa Facebook, yung Facebook ba, they don't care whether these followers are AI operated or mga trolls ito, basta as long as you've reached a certain number of followers?
Sir, actually,
or organic ito?
nakikita ng Meta yan.
So,
That's
ibig
why
sabihin,
they
alam
have
nila.
that analytics. If you open your page, there is a dashboard where you can see the analytics, and they can break it into who is following, from where, etc., etc. Specifically on marketplace. That's why I was questioning the issue put forth by the chairman on the need for the platform organizations to be present, because in marketplace they are earning from the Philippine market. And recently Congress passed a law on digital payments where you impose certain tax on Netflix, on digital purchases, and that is where you would have seen the total income they have from our market. So it is very important when you meet the platform organizations that they reveal their books, because that is the only way you can regulate.
So
and
they
can
know-
listen.
So this social media operators, they know kung organic ba talaga yung mga followers mo or
Sir.
hindi.
Nakikita yon, nakikita nila. Kaya nag-change ng algorithm eh.
Okay. So, ngayon, ano po?
They penalize din kapag nakikita ng
Okay.
peke yung ano.
So what about the shares, the number of shares? Di ba sabi nila may nag-viral? Can that also be monetized? Do they pay you for a certain number of shares?
No.
Sa views pa rin po. Pag mas maraming shares, it would lead to more views. So views pa rin.
So ibig sabihin, hindi nagmamatter whether nag-viral siya o hindi. Basta as long as meron ng pre-arranged agreement na you have reached a certain requirement in terms of followers, organic ito, and then you have also agreed on their requirements for you to get money from all the contents that you upload. Tama po ba yung pagkaintindi ko?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Diba mas marami pong views, mas malaki po yung kita.
Okay, so normally, sa YouTube po yung mga vloggers na to.
Marami po sa YouTube.
Okay, ma. So, Mr. Chair, the reason why I'm asking this is, I guess it's very important that apart from inviting political vloggers, there's also a need for us to get representation and perhaps to invite the social media platforms. I believe we have already sent them invitation, but I guess it's imperative for this committee to really find out kung paano po tayo mag-jive with our law enforcement agencies, with our vloggers, kasi the only way for us to really regulate itong operation ng mga ganitong klaseng platforms or ganitong klaseng content na hindi makakasira sa reputasyon ng bawat, hindi lang politician, bawat po tao, even negosyo, kasi nagkakaroon din po ng market war, diba? Gumagamit po sila ng mga fake news, hindi lang sa politika, even sa mga negosyo nagsisiraan po sila, is for this committee and for the social media operators and platforms to be in same page po sa gusto natin ipa-abot at gusto nating i-enact na mga regulations, mga regulatory laws po. Mr. Chair, With that, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang pong for my final manifestation, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang pong sabihin sa ating mga vloggers na we are not running after you. Kasi kanina po ang sabi po ni Congresswoman Franz Castro ay some of our guests here went to the Supreme Court and then to file a petition for certiorari, questioning probably the power of this committee to conduct an investigation. Do not take this personal because we're not running after you. We are actually trying because, you know, social media platforms and the cyberspace, this is an emerging industry and community. And for every industry, if it's not regulated, if it's not restricted, then tama po yung sinabi po ng aking mga kasamahan, talagang it is bound to be abused and exploited. Ayaw naman natin na at the end of the day, tayo yung magsisisi. So, just to our message to all our guests who did not appear in this committee, I'd like to guarantee to you na hindi po kami, we're not running after you individually. We want your participation. We want you to give us your input so that we can craft a more responsive piece of legislation para maiwasan po natin yung pag-proliferate po ng hindi tama at maling balita po sa publiko. Marami pong salamat, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity. Thank you, Ms. Tikia, and thank you,
Thank you, Congressman
President Bongo.
Adjong. The last to ask question, si Congressman Barbers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You are now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. It's
Lucky you, Representative Akop gave you another.
thank you, Congressman
How
Ako.
many hours, Congressman Akop? 10 minutes.
Thank you, thank you.
Additional. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Congressman Ako, for that generosity. Again, following the last manifestation of our colleague, Congressman Adjong, that we want to specify na we're not running after the vloggers. Kasi that's a new industry, di ba? And it's a tool also to inform the public, no, of important information, especially in relation to, say, politika, economics. We're only going to run after the purveyors of fake news. Yung fake news, no, especially those that issue statements that are libelous, slanderous. Alam naman po natin yan. I'm glad that we have vloggers here. Now, if I may ask our vloggers who are present here today, which I asked the same question earlier kay Ms. Malutiki. Tinanong ko siya kanina kung kinakailangan ba tayo ay magkaroon ng isang regulatory policy or framework dito sa paggamit ng social media platform. At ang sagot niya, if I'm not mistaken, ang sagot po ni Malu Tikia kanina ay dapat. In fact, we can use the best practices abroad, ika nga, di ba? Yun ang ano. And we will definitely use that as our basis in crafting legislation as a product of this committee hearing. Now, we have three other vloggers present today. I remember si Mr. Mark, no? Mr. Mark, I will ask you the same question. Ikaw ba ay naniniwala na dapat ang social media sa Pilipinas o yung vlogging o vloggers dapat magkaroon ng code of conduct or regulatory policy sa paggamit ng social media platforms?
Sa akin po, kailangan balansehin yung right to free speech and yung possible na pag-abuse nito kung saan nakakasobrang sakit ka na ng tao, libelous na, o hindi kaya tinatraidor mo na yung bansa. With that being said, sa akin po, ang tingin ko, kailangan hiwa-hiwalay po separate na usapan para sa AI, kasi po ibang problema po yung sa AI, dun pa lang ang dami na tayong magiging problema in the future. Tapos ibang usapan kapag yung vlogger naman ay being used by a foreign as a foreign agent or a foreign country. So, pwede pong ihiwa-hiwalay po na ganun para at least we could solve yung pong mga malalaking problema na yon.
But generally, that is a policy or a regulatory policy na dapat meron tayo.
Yes po.
Sa ngayon ba, wala tayo niyan?
Wala po.
And yan is a necessity.
Yes po. For AI, tapos pagdating po sa mga foreign agents, wala po.
Sige, okay. Thank you, Mr. Mark. Kasi yun din ang sagot ni Ms. Malu kanina. Now, I'd like to ask Attorney Ricky. No? Attorney Ricky, do you also believe that there must be a regulatory policy in the use of the social media platforms in the country?
Yes po, Mr. Chair, Honorable Congressman Ace Barbers. Kailangan, pero po ako hindi na dapat under amendment siya sa Cybercrime Prevention Act. Kasi kapag doon kasi sa Cybercrime Prevention Act, yung sinabi ko kanina na landmark case ng Dicini versus Secretary of Justice, kinonfront na ng Supreme Court yung issue na yan at ang desisyon ng Supreme Court hindi talaga talagang mababiolate ang freedom of expression kapag renegulate. Kaya ang maganda siguro, hindi na siya as freedom of expression. Dapat separate law talaga regarding proliferation of troll farms.
Okay.
Mas doon yung hindi na siya sa kasi ang troll farms hindi naman freedom of expression yan eh. So yun yung crime, yung pag-maintain ng troll farms na nagpo-proliferate ng fake news.
To
Kasi
laymanise it, attorney, yung troll farms, parang isang sindikato.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Diba? Na ito ay mga bayaran na ang layunin ay manirang puri o hindi kaya ay what do you call that? Yung to discredit, no? To discredit maybe a person, an organization, or public figures. Tama?
Yes po, Mr. Chair. Saka, i-relate na din na yan ay conspiracy, parang sindikato na yan, maraming involved dyan. So, hindi siya freedom of expression. Hindi siya freedom of expression case or law. Tungkol talaga siya sa... Kasi kung dito, yung kasing Dicini, talagang freedom of expression case yung niresolve doon. So, pagka freedom of expression, by jurisprudence ng Supreme Court ngayon, ano pa siya malaki pa yung bias niya towards yung freedom of expression. Pero kung separate na law talaga, hindi lang amendment ng Cybercrime Prevention Act. Talagang yung parang sindikato na yung mga troll farms na yan, fake news.
Okay. Sige po. The gentleman beside you is also a vlogger. No? I'm sorry I didn't get your name.
Ross Del Rosario po.
Ross, no? Sir Ross, ikaw, ganun din ang iyong paniwala, no?
Yes, sir. I agree po. Meron dapat regulation. Pero dapat crowdsource nga po. Dapat within the community ng mga vloggers.
Within the community.
Opo.
So, sa punto naman ng itong ano ba to, yung pagkalat, no? Yung as a post is made, no, by someone. And then this post is libelous, kunyari, or slanderous. Tapos shinare ng mga kasama niya sa sinasabi ni Attorney Ricky na membro ng sindikato, yung troll farm, no? So, sila ba'y dapat managot?
Parang hindi po kasi parang na-misinformed lang sila eh.
Okay.
So, naging influential yung nag-post. So, akala nila totoo. So, they reshared it. So, parang hindi po siya directly, parang na-misinform nga po sila dahil akala nila totoo. Dahil probably popular siya o celebrity or influential din. So, naapektuhan lang po sila. Parang naging very influential yung nag-share. Ay, nag-post.
Okay.
So parang hindi po sila directly dapat parusahan.
I'd like to ask also our resource persons, yung ating mga vloggers. You're familiar with the video na pinapakalat, no? Yung fake video where apparently our president is using drugs, no? So, anong ikaw, Miss Malutikya, what do you what can you say about that video?
Sir, I did not share the video.
Yeah, but I'm just asking your opinion. Ano ba? Is that kasi marami ng nagsasabi na these are manipulated, these are AI generated, these are deepfakes. And you agree with that, with those findings, correct?
I held judgment for the simple reason that I haven't seen any documentation on the claim.
So you haven't seen the video,
I've seen the video,
and
but I chose not to share it for the simple reason that I haven't seen any authentication.
so you have reservations.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you don't share something that you do not verify or validate. Eh, sana ganyan po lahat ng vloggers, di ba? Kasi it seems that it's not the norm, no, of the vloggers. Eh. If they see a post and then somebody else will tell them to share this post, they will start sharing it.
I agree, sir, but you also need to contextualize that there are bloggers who are there to earn, so not necessarily having the experience. I have been in politics for, as I said, 30 years, so I know.
Yeah, I've known you since the early 90s.
Diba? So I know which one is hala and which one is shareable. So
Yeah, well, you know, that's why I said I'm glad that you're that kind of a social media user, no?
sir, it's very hard because when you see everyone sharing and then your followers are asking, why are you not sharing it? So there are times I've learned, since I've been bashed so many times, I've learned not to react. Early on, at the start of Facebook, I was reacting left and right.
Well, I'm happy to hear that because isa kang matalinong vlogger. Hindi kagaya ng ibang mga vlogger na walang ginawa yun kundi mag-share, magmura, manira, at kung ano-ano pang iniimbento, di ba? Yes, Mr. Mark, what can you say about that video naman?
Gusto ko lang din pong idagdag eh. Marami po tayong kababayan at kahit yung mga vloggers, hindi naman po sila tanga na hindi nila ma-distinguish ano yung fake news sa hindi. Ang problema po, kahit na merong pagdududa sa kanila kung totoo o hindi, if the video serves their narrative, if the post serves nung naratibo nila, if it supports the candidate na gusto nila, they will still share it. Nasa ganun na po tayong stage eh. Kahit
But are you telling us that itong mga ganitong klaseng vloggers do not know the limitations of the freedom of expression or freedom of speech?
the thing is kasi po, there are gray areas eh. Merong mga videos na pwedeng 70% true, 30% not true. So kahit maliit lang yung porsyento na chance na magkatotoo, sineshare pa rin. Tapos pwedeng patanong, totoo kaya ito? Share, ganun. So meron pong mga ways to circumvent just to push their narrative dahil ang gusto nila is masira si Pangulo.
So they share a post even if they have not validated it or verified it,
Yes.
as long as it suits their narrative. O kaya inutos sa kanila, ginagawa nila.
Opo.
No?
Kahit po yung mga ordinaryong Pilipino, ganun din.
Okay, sige po. Salamat. Kay Attorney Ricky naman po at do sa kay Mr. Ross, ganun din po ang inyong paniwala. Ano ang masasabi nyo?
Totoo po kasi it's all about alliances po kasi. So kapag, halimbawa, in favor sa kanila yon dahil bet nila yung particular product or particular person, share nila yung mga news na negative about them. For example, when I was starting as a blogger, may mga kumukontak po sa akin na mga brands na they want to share negative information or news about their competition. So, ang nangyayari po kasi, nire-reward po yung mag-share ng ganito. Ang nangyayari, talagang they will have to accept it dahil rewarding, nagbe-benefit sa kanila. So, siguro ang kailangan natin gawin is magkaroon po ng parang yung ang gawin po ng government natin is magkaroon po ng parang workshop or guidance or effort na magkaroon ng awareness. Yung nga po ginagawa namin, meron kaming grupo na tinatawag namin Umaluhokan. So every year, nagkukonduct po kami ng parang ganyan workshop para tinuturuan po namin, ini-encourage po namin yung aming mga members, yung mga aspiring, mga vloggers, para maging responsible sa kanilang mga pinopost. At din-discourage po namin yung mga nagmumura, yung mga naghuhubad, mga nagpapakita ng mga almost scantily clad na mga outfits. So, i-encourage namin sila na mas maging mas maging responsible sa kanilang mga posts. Kaya lang po,
Kasi alam mo, minsan may makikita tayong post, no? Pagka sa TV, dadaan yan sa isang masusing editing, no? Ganun din naman sa dyaryo, no? Pero sa social media kasi walang nag-e-edit eh. Kahit nga mismo yung, halimbawa, yung mga nakikita yung billboard sa EDSA. 'Di ba? Yan, they are bound by certain rules, 'di ba? Ano yung ilalagay mo doon? Pero yung mga fake news peddlers, pwede ba sila maglagay ng billboard sa EDSA, yung kanilang pinost na fake? Hindi. Kasi they know that they will be censored by the regulatory body regulating yung mga paggamit ng mga billboards. Kaya talagang kinakailangan talagang magkaroon tayo ng isang polisiya. Yung nananawagan ngayon dito sa social media na sinasabi na hanggang ngayon, wala nga, nagpe-press con nga yata sila at sinasabing ano daw, freedom of speech. May abogada dyan sinasabi, freedom of speech. Kinakartel daw, sinosuppress daw namin. Yung attorney Trixie, vlogger din yon, di ba? She should know better. Abogada siya meron pa isa, si attorney Harry Roque. No, meron daw suppression of information highway. I don't know kung saan galing yon. Pero my point being is that we're not suppressing anything here. Kaya nga ho kayo nandirito because we want to consult you para magkaroon tayo ng polisiya, isang regulatory framework. Ngayon, dahil hindi sila nagpunta rito at nandun sila sa labas, tinitira kami sa kanilang social media, sa mga vlogs nila, that only tells us something. Di ba? Bakit takot kayo rito na magbigay ng inyong idea para magkaroon tayo kasi ayaw nyo magpa-regulate? So that you can continue with what you're doing even though that you know na ito ay illegal. You're crossing the border of being libelous and not. Diba? So, bakit ganun? Diba? Ngayon, they create an impression among their followers na kami ay nangingitil ng kanilang karapatan. Wala ho kaming ginagawang ganun dito. Wag ho kayo magpapabudol dyan sa mga budolerong yan. Marami yung nambubudol na vlogs. Wag kayong follow sa kanila dahil pinagkakakitaan ho kayo niyan. Kawawa ho kayo. Yung pong nagbibigay ng mga stars, yung mga vloggers na nanghihingi ng stars, wag ho kayong magbibigay ng mga stars dyan. Dahil ginagawa ho nila yan, kunyari in the guise of you supporting their contents so that they can produce more contents, pero kumikita po yung mga yan, binubudol lang ho kayo niyan. Huwag ho kayong magpapaloko dahil yung pera nyo, ginagamit po nila. So, again, Mr. Chairman, I want to know also, where does NTC come into play here? Nasaan ho ang NTC dito sa buong kwento ng fake news, ng social media, ng vlogging? Saan ho tayo dito, NTC?
Good evening, Mr. Chair. On the part of NTC, we rely on the opinion of the Office of the Solicitor General, acting as our statutory counsel, where the Solicitor General concluded that while the power to issue order to restrict, block access, or delete libelous online posts remain with the courts,
Remain with the courts, yeah.
it should be supported by a judicial warrant. And therefore, NTC cannot take down these.
Okay.
Videos.
But are you monitoring all this? Assuming somebody asks for materials or maybe perhaps evidence from your end, can you provide that?
When a complaint is filed, we refer to the telcos for the preservation of content, and we also refer it to law enforcement agencies.
Kasi ako, I was being accused of being a drug lord daw eh. But when you look at the whole story, ang kwento, yung sasakyan na nahuli somewhere in Leyte ay dumaan lang sa Surigao. Dahil ako'y taga Surigao, ako na raw yung drug lord. And they create the story. Meron, ang narrative nila is that the vehicle that was used to transport these drugs is owned by me and driven by my brother. So they painted a picture of me and my brother being involved in drugs. Yan, nakakatawa yun eh. Dahil sa amin, wala naman naniniwala eh. Di ba? Merong iilan siguro na naniniwala. But my point being is that because this post was made by someone, perhaps our political opponent, yun lang naman kasi yung pwede niyang gawin para manalo eh. So, kumalat, no? At isinare naman ito ng mga kung sino-sinong vlogger. No, ngayon, when ABS-CBN issued a fact-check report and Rappler issued the same fact-check report saying it's false, it's not true, meron pa rin mga tatanga-tangang mga vlogger na patuloy pa rin nilalabas, pinupost ito. Meron dyan, yung isang laos na dating TV anchor. Laos na yun eh. O, ngayon, naghanap ng pagkakitaan siguro. Di ba? And hoping and expecting that he will garner X amount of engagement so that he can monetize. Perhaps, no? Yun ang tingin ko. Hindi pa yata na kontento sa bayad ng mga narco vloggers at saka mga pogo operators eh. My point again is that because this happened, my personal experience, sa akin wala, kaya sabi ko nga wala naman naniniwala eh, no, doon sa aking mga pinagsisilbihan, sa aking mga constituents eh. In spite of the fact that there were already reports saying that these are false statements, false news or fake news, they kept on spreading and spreading and spreading. Diba? Sabi nga kanina, di ba? We cannot be onion skinned. Yun lang. But there must be a way for this kinds of behavior to be checked. And the only way we can do that in the social media is when we come up with a regulatory policy. That's why I'm also proposing that the social media platforms, dapat kumuha sila ng prangkisa sa Kongreso.
That's
Dapat
correct.
kumuha sila ng prangkisa so that they will toe the line and they will be disciplined. Kasi ngayon, pinapabayaan lang nila eh. Di ba?
Yes, Your Honor. And we can regulate in that.
And because may prangkisa sila, NTC now can regulate.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Do you agree that we should demand or compel them to seek franchise from Congress, Attorney?
We agree, Your Honor.
And let me ask, you see, we have so yun lang ang punto natin doon. Mr. Chairman, nakakalungkot isipin eh, kasi nung tiningnan ko kung ilan na yung nakakita, ang dami na eh, 100,000 na yung nakakita nung post eh. Oh. Ngayon, yung comments, nakakatawa lang yung comments. When they post it, no, there's this vlogger na siguro wala rin pagkakitaan ito, banat lang ito ng banat, pasiga-siga rin ito, siguro, naghahanap din ng engagement. Di ba? Naghahanap din ng engagement. Hindi pa rin nakontento sa bayad sa kanya. Now, he kept on spreading and spreading this fake news. So the only recourse in running after these kinds of people who abuse the social media is for us to pass a law. Kasi kung hindi, patuloy ang ganyan. Ang nakakalungkot, especially for a public official who is running for an office, a public office. Kunyari, kagaya kanina kay Senator Marcoleta, pag nasiraan siya na nasiraan, it may affect his winnability. Because may naniwala eh. Kapag mayroong naniwala, no? So, ngayon, dun sa mga vloggers na imbis na pumunta dito, magpahayag ng kanilang mga punto de vista, ika nga, o makadagdag man lang, makaambag man lang kayo sa paggawa ng batas dito, patungkol dyan sa inyong industriyang social media, eh hindi nyo ginawa, bagkus kayo ay nagpunta sa Supreme Court para magreklamo sa TRICOM. Yun, and they do this with bravado, ika nga. Sobra, di ba? Sobra yung yabang nito mga to. Mayabang nga sa post eh. But when you ask them to come here and, share your ideas here, they don't want. So, I'm glad that NTC has agreed with the position of this representation. Ngayon, doon naman po sa atin sa law enforcement, NBI and sa PNP, no, naiintindihan mo namin yung dilemma ninyo eh. Di ba? Yung dilemma that one, you cannot you cannot even subpoena a probable suspect at the moment. But following the doctrine of in flagrante delicto as espoused by Congresswoman Jinky Luistro, palagay ko meron na kayong legal na basihan. So maybe you can explore that. That's a good issue that you can study so that your job will become easy. Marami may naninira, hindi na lang, wala nang ang respeto di ba? They call names. They call us names. Tapos ang mabigat, yung nananawagan ng kaguluhan sa bayan. Di ba? Kayo bilang law enforcers, naiintindihan nyo na ito ay isang malaking yung nga nananawagan ng kudita ngayon, hindi na ngayon makita eh. Oh, di ba? Nung una, nung hindi siya pinapansin, ang tapang-tapang niya. Ngayon, when the authorities wanted to implement what the law says, nagtatago na ito. So, Mr. Chair, gusto ko pa sanang abaan, but I promise to you, 1 minute and 30 seconds lang.
Actually, ano na yan, 15 minutes ka na.
So, and
Okay.
I'm sure this is not the first and the last hearing, no?
No. Actually, ano siya, meron pa tayong next hearing next week. Yes, Congressman Akop.
I will yield the balance of my time to Congressman Akop. Thank you.
Salamat naman sa nahiya ka. Congressman Akop, please.
Mr. Chair, may I know if we have invited representatives from BIR and AMLAC?
BIR?
And AMLAC?
We haven't invited them yet because actually we have given this time to the first 40 bloggers, no? Na nakita natin according sa CICC that have contents that are meron silang misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation content. That's the reason why we invited them first. But marami pa po tayong imbita,
Mr. Chair, that we invite representatives from BIR and AMLAC in the next scheduled hearing.
Okay, we will do that, Chairman Akop. So, Comsec, you are directed to invite the BIR and the AMLAC as well. Yes.
My last point, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
May I ask Attorney Ricky, he mentioned about the Dicini case. Is it the case of Dicini versus the Secretary of Justice 2014?
Yes po, Mr. Chair, Honorable Congressman.
Yes. May I know the gist of that Supreme Court decision?
Ang gist po nito, Mr. Chair, Honorable Congressman Akop, yung pagbalance ng right, yung freedom of expression at saka naman yung need na i-regulate nga yung tungkol sa paggamit ng cyberspace sa freedom of expression at freedom yung
care to ensure that they do not stifle freedom of expression. Tama. Tama ba, Attorney Rick?
yes po.
But it also said, free speech is not absolute.
Yes po.
In other
Mr.
words,
Chair.
it is susceptible for government regulations. Would you agree with that?
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. It is subject to certain restrictions as may be necessary and as may be provided by law. That is the gist of Dicini versus Secretary of Justice. And I think that is the reason why we are here this afternoon. To come up with regulations that would regulate those acts of people, purveyors of fake news, that they should operate within the bounds of law. I think that is the purpose of this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, maraming salamat po at tapos na po tayo. But before
Mr. Chair,
that, wait.
Yes, sir. Sir, Mr. Chair, just a clarification, Your
Okay,
Honor.
go ahead.
Just for 1 minute, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Regarding my answer, Your Honor, to the query of the Honorable Representative Luis Tro a while ago, Your Honor, regarding the continuing nature of libel or defamation case or a libel, I just would like to clarify, Your Honor, so that this body could be guided properly, Your Honor, and because I don't want to be the source of a fake information, Your Honor. There are Supreme Court jurisprudence, Your Honor, stating that libel is not a continuing crime, Your Honor. Just for the guidance of the body, Your Honor. That I can share the jurisprudence later on with the COMSEC, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Congressman Ako.
may I ask the resource person stated that hindi po under 101.75. Tama.
Yes, sir.
Yes, the prescriptive period for cyber libel is 1 year. Would that be correct also?
Yes, sir.
So 1 year lang talaga ang prescriptive period. If a case is not filed, then you can no longer file a case of libel
Yes, Your Honor.
under the cybercrime law.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, lastly, before I recognize Congressman Johnny, my co-chair, Johnny Pimentel, yung kanina you were telling us about the Pogo money, si Congressman Barbers. Can you kindly tell us kung mamamonitor natin kung yung ating mga content creator are being financed by the narco money or the Pogo money? Can we? Kaya natin sa DICT, sa ating CICC? O subject yan doon sa ating I think we can reveal it if we can monitor that the financer.
Mr. Chair, we don't currently have that information.
What?
We don't currently have that information, but we'll check. We'll check with other agencies involved.
Kasi sinasabi nyo kanina, kita nyo yung mga suspect, di ba? May mga suspect kayo, But ang problem niyo, you wanted to have an executive session kasi nga may involvement na ng national security. Can you divulge it to us after this? Can we have a...
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay? Konti lang naman tayo. Na? Okay. Tapos, ito pong BIR, yun na nga tatanungin sana natin sila yung mga vloggers, si Atty. Ricky saka si Mark. Are you paying the right taxes for this? Yung mga monetization po ninyo?
Yan po. Currently po kasi merong rule yung BIR, pag 250,000 below, yung pong kita eh hindi po kasama doon. So ngayon po merong kinakaltas si YouTube na tax sa Amerika. So ganun po yung current.
Oh, no. As a BIR, that's not applicable with us. Ha?
Opo.
If the taxes are being paid sa US, iba yung sa atin.
Iba po yun. Oo nga po. Tapos sa BIR po, pag 250,000 below, ay hindi po hindi.
Particularly you Mark, hindi ka nagbabayad sa
Ngayon po
BIR.
hindi po. Mababa po yung
Attorney Ricky.
Nagbabayad po. Actually po yung sa US kasi, tax withheld po lang kaagad yun.
Yeah,
Tapos dito, nagbabayad pa rin po dito.
So, yun din ang tatanong sana natin doon sa mga invited vloggers natin. Kung they are paying the right taxes. But having invited by Congressman Acop, so most likely we'll be submitting all the names of these vloggers to the BIR for us to find out if they are paying the right taxes doon sa kinikita nila. If not, then subject na naman po yan sa sa magiging I don't know. Pero okay, yung po kanina sinabi po ni Congressman Ace Barbers, yung prangkisa, which nakita ko maganda rin to kung talagang the social platform will not cooperate with us. Yung franchise ay magandang alternative, di po ba? Pero ang tanong sa NTC, kung halimbawa nagkaroon tayo ng ganitong congressional act na kailangan may franchise sila Google, may franchise sila Meta, sila TikTok, but wala tayong firewall like sa China. And they can't enter our airspace. Even without informing us, people can access to their platforms. So, anong gagawin ng NTC kung bigyan nga natin ng franchise ang Pilipino investor na magtayo ng sariling platform, but wala tayong firewall? So what will happen to these platforms? Ang bigat ng competition.
Hypothetically, Your Honor, the NTC can direct all telcos and internet service providers to block access to a website of an entity that does
We
not,
can do that,
that is not compliant with our laws.
but they can use the VPN. Backdoor. Di ba?
Mr. Chair, you're right, but that as the same with China, but that significantly also parang adds a layer of difficulty to accessing these services.
So we have to consider yung gagawin ng NTC and the firewall. I think that's the best solution if we're going to issue a franchise to these platforms. Di ba, para they follow the regulation of the host country. Di ba? Tama
Yes, Your
po ba yan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. CICC, tanong ko rin sa inyo kasi 2012 pa po na-aprubahan yung ating pong batas. Bakit para atang ano nangyari? Bakit 2024, 2025 na ngayon? So para nakikita namin that yung parang pagfa-file, nakita natin ang problem doon. Yung infrastructure niyo ba, yung inyong center ba, what happened? What happened? Parang feeling namin, you do not exist. Ngayon lang namin nalaman na merong CICC. Why? What happened?
A brief history na since 2012, but the IRR was only completed in 2014, and then in 2016 the ICT was created, and there was a new law creating the ICT. So nagkaroon ng lull, waiting again for the new IRR to transfer CICC to the ICT. Then we had the hindi na implement ang IRR at the time until the creation of the DICT under the direction of Secretary Sala Lima. But then it was not operational. It was only
When was
operational.
this po na hindi siya operational?
since its creation until 2019, when
So, naging operational lang po kayo noong 2019.
2019, during the pandemic days, with all the problems already besetting the country, the national government realized that there's an agency supposed to address this. So they operationalize it in 2019. And
Sinong first head ng CICC?
I think it was Cabanlong, Alan Cabanlong was the first one. And then
And under its jurisdiction, naging operational at
hindi pa.
hindi pa.
Parang ano lang yun, parang ceremonial appointment lang, no? Eventually, nang na-operationalize siya, the next executive director appointed was Cesar Mancao, former police officer also.
Cesar Mancao.
Cesar Mancao.
Siya nag-head ng CICC.
Yes.
And what happened then?
They created an organization on a limited scale, no? It was not designed to be very when we assume it was the organization was not designed to be responsive to the law. So when I assumed in 2022, we had to overhaul
Was not
everything
designed for the purpose
for the purpose of the law of creating
of what
CICT.
mandated them to do? Well, hindi siya nakadesign sa ganun? So, ano design nilang ginawa?
Iba yung interpretation nila at the time. Mr. Chair.
Can you elaborate on that?
I think they were focused more on a single problem, which is OSAIC. That's
What?
why OSAIC, the rise of abuse of children online. So they were just focused on that particular issue. And when in fact in the law,
So, wala silang issue about yung sa fake news. Wala silang ganun. Wala sa fake.
wala pa. That's why they were able only to accommodate very few complainants at the time. Relatively, mga 50 complaints lang pumasok sa
15 complaints?
50.
50.
Yes.
Compare now, mga complaints
We have
ninyo.
over 20,000 complaints na assisted na.
20,000 complaints ang nare-receive nyo.
Yes, from
And
various.
ilan po ang nare-resolve natin out of these 50,000 complaints?
The first
50,000.
the first one that, kasi there are different types of cybercrimes. There are different regulators. For those that we can assist immediately, we created the account recovery teams, no, to recover your stolen accounts or your hijack accounts. In that way, we have over 300 of that already recovered accounts. And then we were also involved in supporting other police activities, such as sa kidnapping, sa gambling. We also were part of it. The campaign against Isabong and sa Pogo, the illegal scams. We were very instrumental in most of those investigations, providing the technical evaluation and technical investigation for law enforcement.
Director, you have seen naman all the yung mga content sa different platforms. I hope that you are now monitoring because under Section 26 of the 10175, specifically, it was mentioned the function of the CICC. And one of those ay yung pong mag-monitor and to file charges. So, since nakita po naman natin that there are so many, talagang different misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation na nangyayari. So, we hope that you will be monitoring all of this. This is your function according sa 10175. And you have to enhance your capability on this.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And if needed, how much budget was given to CICC?
Previously, we had from 300, naging 400, now we have 1.3.
1.3. At what the PS is how much? The capital outlay how much? What infrastructures are you doing right now to abate this kind of
Under our NEP, it was 200 something.
ang ano po ang
Under sa NEP, kasi because when we proposed the budget, a lot of our projects were disallowed or were cut down by DBM at the time until itong latter part of the 2024. That's when an insertion to support us was made. So we were preparing to adjust
Okay.
our projection.
Ano pong significant infrastructure are you going to
The
prioritize?
the monitoring infrastructure, which is absent because what we only have is a equivalent to a call center where we can interact with the public. We need to have a high-end technical monitoring system, similar to an SOC. And,
What is SOC?
security? Yeah, the Security Operations Center where we
Meron na
can
po
do
kayong-
threat hunting.
Meron na po kayong malaking opisina for that
We acquired the office already.
So meron opisina na.
We're in the middle of preparation for the bidding of the equipment
That will monitor
that will monitor all of this.
and interaction with the public,
Yes,
something like that.
yes.
And also equipping the negation equipment.
As a to minimize or to address the current situation is that we acquired a deepfake monitoring tool that we can distribute to the public.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so in the next hearing, let's invite the chairman yung mga responsible kasi marami tayong mga responsible vloggers no. So we have given the chance do sa mga vloggers that we have invited but they missed the opportunity to be a part of the discussion, but in the next hearing will be we will give them another chance, but the problem is we issue a SOCOS order to those who have written us an excuse letter which are unacceptable because nakita natin yung mga reasons nila, pero yung nasa abroad na nasa Singapore acceptable yun because may reason, pero others ay hindi po. So siguro we need to have a
Mr.
uh,
motion.
Chair, we have invited 41 social media personalities today. However, out of 41, only 3 appeared, and 1 is in Singapore. And the other 37 media personalities, social media personalities, instead went to the Supreme Court. So in this view, I believe that their testimony here is very important because they're the one involved in this fake news. So, Mr. Chair, on this note, I move that this committee issue a SOCOS order to the 37 social media personalities to appear in the next hearing.
So there's a motion to issue a SOCOS order to those resource persons who have not given any excuse letter, no? And then there was a second motion. Any objection to the said motion? Hearing no objection, the said motion is now approved. Let's invite also, kasi meron po mga sumulat sa atin, yung mga victims, mga biktima ng mga fake news, no? Those purveyor of misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation. We will be sending them invitation as well. May mga celebrities and businessmen who wanted to be invited as well. So on that note, siguro wala na po tayong iba pa itatakal, other matters.
I move to suspend the hearing.
So there's a motion to suspend this hearing. Second motion. Hearing no objection. This hearing is now suspended. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.